Hi everyone, today I'm doing a rewatch of Twin Peaks and I'm on to episode 17 of season 2. I don't know about you guys if you watched this already, but for me it kind of feels like the last episode was definitely the end of one story and that this episode is the start of a completely new one. I mean, the whole Laura Palmer mystery being solved and then Cooper being able to solve it really feels like a balloon that was being inflated up and up and up, and then kind of after the last episode it's deflated completely. This second half of season 2, it really does take the series to a completely different place in my opinion. I think it's very much comedy driven, even the stuff with the villain. It's called Dispute Between Brothers and it was directed by Tina Rathbone and written by Trisha Brock. I think at this point they started bringing in a lot of different people to direct and write the episodes as well, if I'm not mistaken about that. So I think that might have contributed to the sense of disintegration, I think, with a lot of the show's core aspects. I think that for a start is a bit weird, the 3 days later thing, and it kind of puts a bit of distance between what happened in the last episode, even if it's just 3 days. Okay, so this is a very beautiful and moving scene to start with, where Sarah is talking to Cooper about Leland, and Sarah seems to have forgiven Leland, and she understands that it's actually Bob that has been responsible and that Leland was just another of Bob's victims. It's very sad to hear her say that she has lost everything, and the way she talks about Laura's grave being so new and just the onslaught of horror that she's had to deal with. It's just very it's very sad for her, and Cooper seems to be very much feeling her pain. So we get to see this huge table of food, which kind of looks incongruous with the mood and the sentiment of, you know, it just, yeah, it always does, doesn't it? Funerals. I was not Nadine is just in a world of her own, and she is dressed really strangely. I don't know what that dress is. It kind of looks like something that would be on a China doll. It seems like every episode Norma is throwing one of those sad glances at Ed. So I think Audrey here she's talking to Donna's mother and Sarah, and I think her question is a little bit insensitive, but I think it's typical of a girl of her age. I mean, I guess that she wouldn't have much experience with funerals. So James has gone. Donna is pretty distraught about it. James is blaming himself for everything happening, saying that, you know, he shouldn't have spent so much time loving Donna and ignoring everything else that was going on. So we get these very upsetting scenes at the funeral, at the wake, and they are sandwiched between these scenes of the two old men fighting. Typical Twin Peaks community, I think. It does feel a little bit like all of the characters are being brought together again to reset, I think, and to introduce some new characters. One thing that confuses me, but does Audrey stop going to school in season 2 and just start working for her father? Bobby too, you know, they don't really see the inside of a classroom anymore. In fact, the only people we really see at the school are Mike and Nadine. I like the scene with Cooper and Audrey. I think that there is a little more equality in their relationship now, and Audrey seems a little bit more mature, even though she she isn't fully able to communicate with Cooper on his level, but I think she's a little closer than she was before, and he gives her the respect of saying, look, it's not you, though I kind of have a million excuses, and a lot of them are based on personal reasons as to why I can't have a relationship with you. And the way she takes it is very mature. There is a closeness and bond between them that is shown in this scene. The fact that Cooper feels like he can talk about Caroline, and of course in the scene he goes into talking about Wyndham Earl again, because it's kind of another introduction, I guess, to the character, and a further build up of kind of the horror that Wyndham Earl might bring. So is Bobby wanting this job with Ben because he really wants to support Shelley, or does he just want a personal fortune? It's kind of hard to tell, but I think he does value Shelley, and I think at the moment that he's very much driven by this desire to be a big shot. Well, this is a nice bromance between Cooper and Sheriff Truman, and I love the fact that the romantic theme comes in just as Truman gives Cooper the fishing tackle. And the way his eyes light up looking at that fishing tackle is quite amusing. And Cooper is an honorary bookhouse boy. That shows how much respect he has, not just from Sheriff Truman, but from everyone in town. I think he's treated with respect and decency. Cooper is told that he has been suspended from the FBI, and that the reason is because he partook in this rescue of Audrey. Not only that, but someone has submitted evidence to suggest that his investigational methods might not have been above board. And at this, Cooper looks quite confused. Okay, so there's a little bit of flirtation between Audrey and Bobby, but for me it kind of seems like Bobby is treating her like the rich girl in town, and he's not really interested, but he could go there, you know. Okay, so we kind of got this topsy-turvy thing with the adult in school and the kids like Audrey and Bobby out of school. And of course Nadine's super strength is totally off the charts now. I mean, it's like comic book. And we find out that this is all a setup. Jean Reno and the Mountie guy is an attempt to set up Cooper and to put the last nail in his coffin, as Jean Reno says. So this is an interesting conversation between the Major and Cooper. And the Major Briggs, he says to Cooper, it is some men's fate to face great darkness. They also discuss Bob again and question whether he really exists. And Cooper admits that he has spent a lot of time thinking about Bob and worrying about Bob finding another victim to inhabit. The Major recognizes Cooper's gifts, the gifts of, I don't know what to call them, a kind of, what is that, like the gift of sixth sense, the gift of psychic ability, the gift of being able to see beyond what is real, to see beyond or into a realm that most people can't, to look into a void and see something. I don't know. So Major Briggs implies that he wants to talk about this White Lodge to Cooper, and that Cooper isn't the only person that is able to connect to this realm, to connect to these things that the majority of mankind cannot. And we see this first person perspective in the camera. Maybe that's the owl, maybe that's a Bob or another spirit, but we see an owl above Cooper, and just after that the owl kind of seems to be watching Cooper to see, you know, to coordinate affairs while something else is happening to Major Briggs. And there's this terrible white flash. Major Briggs vanishes, and there does seem to be this very deliberate abduction of Major Briggs, as if he's been targeted. Okay, so that is the end of the episode. I thought it was an alright episode to be, you know, it's so, I think any episode that follows a big moment like Leland being discovered as the killer by Cooper would be quite a difficult episode to write. And I think it does start to reset things a little bit, you know, with Cooper being ousted from the FBI. This thriller storyline with Jean Reno, who is out for revenge. I really like the you know, this thing with the Major Briggs thing, and the fact that the mythology of this other realm of beings, this other spiritual realm or whatever you want to call it, is going to be further explored, and that unfortunately Major Briggs seemed to have a lot of the answers to that, and he has disappeared. But I think we know from that scene that something more is going to happen in regards to discovering these beings and discovering who they are. And you know, the Bob thing, it never really has gone away, even though Bob has disappeared as well. You get the sense that Bob is always there, lingering. Okay, so that's it for now. Thanks for watching. You can follow me on Twitter. I also now have a Facebook page if you're interested, at the Log Sadie. But then that's it for now, and I'll see you probably next week. Bye.